Now, if you got a master's degree in therapy and got licensed as a therapist, then they would. But take it from me, don't just do what you're doing.
Yeah. You know, I don't know any people that like sing the praises of dealing with insurance companies or dance around when talking about them. So I don't feel like that. It's just more of the really wondering,
accessibility.
Yeah, trying to figure out why it was so inaccessible or so still on the fringe. If it was so wonderful and it worked so well, I just wondered, why is it still on the fringe? Why do you just not see a hypnosis store on every corner?
And you know, I guess it's like therapy still has such a stigma. If the names could change or something, but it's what people say when they say do meditation. Well, you're talking about hypnosis.
I often wish that I didn't have to say it was hypnosis when I advertised it, but if I didn't, people wouldn't know what the heck it was that I did. So I kind of have to say hypnosis so that people know, okay, this is the thing that people use to quit smoking. But really, the word hypnosis has so many connotations and so many negative associations attached to it, from clucking like a chicken to all the Svengali stuff to the movies in Hollywood and, you know, Manchurian Candidate and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, if you could just call it what it was, which is talking to someone in a way that helps them to relax and look at things differently, it wouldn't seem so scary or so weird to people.
I have a great idea. You'd call it brainwashing.
Some people do.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about addiction. But in 12-step programs, they always say, people will say, I feel like I'm getting brainwashed, and they'll say, well, I think your brain needed washing.
Yeah, well,
because you've been on drugs. But so what about addictions? Can you work with addictions?
I can, but I'll honestly say I've had limited experience with them. I've had a few people that came seeking help, and what I'll say is, you know, I think that as far as it goes with like the government and legally, you can't even as a hypnotist advertise that you deal with alcoholism or drug addiction. So what you can say is I can help you with habits. You know, so if someone is drinking too much, and I had people who were drinking way too much who came to me, and I did the same type of stuff that I do with the craving for Mountain Dew, really, and find them not drinking as much, you know, or controlling it, you know. I had this woman that came to me, and her husband had passed away. She was drinking way too much wine. She was going through all this trauma and stress, and she thought that she was going to have to do like 20 sessions to get her life back on track. I saw her 3 times, and she was doing so well after that. She's like, you know what, I don't need any more help. And it really isn't something it's hard to say, you know, it's not like everyone who's an alcoholic can be cured in 3 sessions. Absolutely not. And I've had clients who haven't that I've worked with. I think any therapist should be honest about that. But, yeah, it's something when used properly can make that transition a heck of a lot easier than just doing it through conscious willpower alone. Well,
and I agree with you. And I would say, as well, you probably know I'm a recovering addict, but as a addiction therapist, that what happens is if you get somebody who's already so far into their addiction, nothing like that's going to stop it, and neither is treatment. Treatment is barely 10% successful. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's AA or it's not. It's 10%. Right. So, but somebody who is drinking as a response to trauma probably is drinking to deal with their feelings. And
again, sometimes it's just a symptom. So if it's a symptom, like with this woman, it's like all these different issues that she had going on, and she had like a lot of things that she was complaining about, like she wrote down on her list, if I want to address these like 20 different things. And I didn't have to specifically focus on each one of those things in order for her life to change. All I had to do was to get her to deal with the cause of it, you know. And once she became comfortable with, she'd been dealing with some stressful stuff. I mean, her husband passed away. She had something going on with one of her children, I think. She had a job thing that was going badly. You know, I don't remember the specifics. It was about 3-4 years ago. But I remember that once you deal with the main cause of it, you know, if the person doesn't have a reason to drink, then drinking is not going to be a problem. Now, when I used to drink in my early 20s way too much, it was because I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin unless I was drunk. Okay? So if you already feel comfortable, if you're already happy without being intoxicated, then it serves no purpose for you. So, you know, while I never had to specifically work on myself for alcoholism, once I started to feel more relaxed and more comfortable in my own skin, I just didn't want to get drunk anymore, because it served no benefit to me. And
do you think for her it was a combination of the loss and her issue with her kids and all that?
Yeah, it was going through the things that people go through in life and dealing with them for a long period of time. And once she changed her focus, and her focus was on her future, which was bright and wonderful, and she had some good things to be happy about, that those problems took care of themselves.
So she didn't sit in your office and sob about losing her husband?
No. I mean, and that was the thing that I told her when we first came, because I think she, like many of my other clients, had already been to other therapists, and I said, one thing that you're not going to do when you come in here is talk about stuff and cry every week. Once in a while I'll have someone who will talk about a past experience on the first session that I work with them, and I'll bring out the box of Kleenex and they'll cry for a few minutes. But I'll joke about it. I'll say, okay, that's it. We're not going to do that every week here. What is it that you want? It's amazing how when you tell somebody, what is it that you want? What is it that will make you happy? And they start talking about it. And they start thinking about it like, oh, what would make me happy is being on a beach somewhere and retiring and having my own business and all this kind of stuff. And when they're thinking about that, guess what? There's no stress. There's no worry. There's no depression. And so it's like if you can focus them on those thoughts more often, they don't have to deal with the remedial problems. So it's like instead of putting a Band-Aid on things or trying to fix wounds, it's like you heal the person on the inside and focus them on a new track. And then it's like, you know what? These things don't even matter anymore.
That's wonderful. Well, we have a few minutes left, so since I'm not paying attention to your information in front of me, are there a couple things we haven't covered that you want to make sure and talk about? Well, I know one thing we definitely should talk about is the diet issue.
Right. Well, I know there are a lot of people probably listening who'd love to lose a few pounds. So the focus when I work with someone on healthy eating is on eating healthier foods in regular portions, in smaller portions, meaning that what we do with hypnosis is we change your awareness about food. So it means that most people have a program from when they're growing up that they just eat until the plate is empty, or just eat until their portion is gone. And then afterwards you feel stuffed or you feel lousy.
Exactly.
So what we do with the hypnosis is we change your awareness, meaning before you make a choice of what you're going to eat, you have an awareness of what am I going to choose here? It's not just based on how good it tastes. It's based on how am I going to feel afterwards. And that's a very different choice.
True.
So you make a different choice initially, and then while you're actually eating, you get some awareness of, is my stomach full? And if it is, then you stop. And if you stop in time, then you're going to find yourself feeling better.
So the hypnosis then helps them to sort of put those steps in their mind, because I'll think of those steps before I'm eating and after.
And then you forget about it. It's at the time when you need it most when you forget.
Yes.
So what we do when hypnosis works well on that is we make you aware of it at the right moment.
That's perfect. And you have any success stories with that?
Yeah, I had two guys just this past year, one who lost 70 pounds in 6 months and one who lost 43 pounds in, I think, 5 months. And the one who lost 43 pounds in 5 months, if you go to my website, I've got an interview with him there.
Oh, perfect.
Where I talked about
it.
Can
we get to see before and after pictures?
I don't have a picture with him. You know what? And actually, he wanted to use a different name when we did the interview because he was concerned about his identity, which some people are. They want their privacy. But he did the interview and he talked about how it worked, and he said the best thing about it was that it was slow and steady. And that because of that, unlike diets in the past, he wasn't worried about it coming crashing to a halt.
Wow, that is so cool. Sean Wheeler, phone number, a website?
Phone number is 678-488-7362, and the website is purehypnosis.com. That's purehypnosis.com.
This was so much fun, Sean. Thank you so much.
I had a ball. Thanks, Suzi.
Remember, we'll be back next week. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening today to Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. This show is a public affairs presentation of B98.5 FM. My name is Suzi Marsh, LCSW, and I'm with Comprehensive Psychiatric Care. If you have any questions about the show, please call me at 678-570-8169. That's 678-570-8169, or email me at Suzi, S-U-Z-I, at Suzi-Marsh.com. That's Suzi at Suzi-Marsh.com. Remember, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.